4 here today. Yet another 10-lap screamer, bringing together quite an assortment of cars. The Mazda RX-7s well and truly represented. In fact, it might be timely to go through the grid, how they'll line up today. On pole position, car number 14, Keith Carley in the Mazda RX-7 from 2:41, Mike Griffin in the Mazda from 3, Bob Jolly, standout Victorian in the Commodore from 4:49, Bob Tyndall in the Tirana from 5:33, Albert Cedars in the Mazda RX-7 from 6 is car 6, Trevor Ashby in an Escort. From 7:11, Bill Attard in a Mazda. From 8:37, Graham Stones in a Mazda. From 9:56, Chris Hones in a BMW. From 10:57, John Vernon in an Escort. From 11:63, Greg Crick. And from 12:28, Tony Herbert.
Bob Jolly, V8 Holden loosely based Commodore, McCulloch entry, car number 3, alongside Bob Tyndall. 2 rotaries on the front row of the grid, 2 V8s on the second row, and there at the back of the grid in the Lyshart Collarbond entry is Mark Trenoweth, big 12-cylinder Jag. Look at the field of cars. How do you get through them? He did it in the first heat. Can he do it again? We're
about 10 seconds away from the start of the final of the Camalco Wonderlic Sports Sedan Series from Sydney's Amaroo Park. They make the right-hand kick, heading up Itchapay for the first time. No, he doesn't. He's been rounded up left, right and centre. Bob Tyndall gets a beautiful start too. Jolly in amongst the thick of it all as they head up the top of the hill and looking for Trenoweth to try and split them early. Carling, though, will lead. Jolly trying to push his way up into second spot. No, he's gone back to third. Tyndall is fourth. Griffin is fifth. And look for the field to go through. Trenoweth there has already passed about 5 cars as they make their way down to Mazda Corner.
Oh, there's been a nasty one.
Cars in a terrific cloud over there on the back straightaway.
John Leeson in a Capri, I can see, is one of the cars involved in that, but there are about 5 or 6 of them, and it's almost impossible to tell until the smoke clears just who has been trapped in that. What a tangle.
Well, they've got cars everywhere. I think they'll probably flag the race. We'll have to wait and see.
Bill Attard, yeah. Car 21, you mentioned him, John Leeson in the Capri. Attard had one of the leading RX-7s, and I say that in past tense, had one. The field streaming down the straight, heading up to the seam where they'll receive a double yellow. I think the track's almost completely blocked there.
Well, they have to go through there in single file. Full credit go to the track marshals. They pulled doors off cars. Ran through there. One's still open, though. Wait for the field to go through slowly.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, goodness me.
How ridiculous. Bob Jolly caught in the middle of that. The man that went round the outside was Trevor Ashby in car number 6. I've never seen anything like this in Australian motor racing in my life. Absolutely unbelievable. The red flag is now out. The race should have been stopped a lap before if the seam was that bad.
Well, I don't think the officials on the scene could believe their eyes, because they suddenly heard the field roar over the top of the hill. I saw one.
Carling went through on the inside. Ashby went round the outside in the grass, which is diabolical down there because it's wet and greasy from some of the rain that we've had in Sydney. And then Bob Jolly went slap bang into the middle of them. Well, that is just unbelievable. There's one of the Mazdas that was involved in the initial incident.
I saw one of the marshals jump up onto the bank and wave his arms in disbelief to try and signal to the field that the track was obviously blocked, but they'd had no prior warning.
Well, goodness me, I have not seen anything like that for a long time. Here's the replay. Look at the field.
This is the initial incident that triggered it off.
Well, Attard was involved in it, but that's all you can say.
I think 11 was the first car to go.
That's Bill Attard.
Yeah. And from there on, we've had about 6 cars.
Well, we just ran out of track and there were cars stopped everywhere. This is the scene. Back live with Bill Attard's car, car number 11. There's Jolly's car with the front missing off it, and Leeson's car is the Capri in the background. They appear to be the 3 main protagonists. I can't understand what's happened. If there was a double yellow flag up there, here's another angle. Carling goes through. This is a lap later. Look, Ashby on the outside, Jolly, wham. He had no idea what was going on. Tyndall goes through, so does Griffin. But look at Griffin. How did he squeeze through there? If there was a double yellow flag or some indication that there was big trouble, I mean, the marshals would have obviously seen there was plenty of drama down there. So perhaps this one lies fairly and squarely in the laps of the drivers who just didn't button off. Often is the case. We saw some examples earlier on today where under a yellow flag, they certainly abide by the regulation and they do not pass each other, but they still try and make up a lot of ground. So tongue-in-cheek, many drivers probably tend to push a little hard under yellow flags. Trenoweth has got problems down here as well. This is at the right-hand exit at the late corner.
Well, they've got a good head of steam up there in front of Jag, so he has some major problems. He's hauled up, as you said, just on the exit of Lake Corner down there. They're trying to get the hood up, I guess.
Well, this thing's on fire if they're spraying that much foam around at the moment. It's all fire and brimstone here at the moment.
Well, that's the situation with an incident in the opening lap of the Comalco Wonderlic Sports Sedan Series here at Amaroo Park, but we can report all drivers are okay. Fortunately, we can't, or unfortunately, we can't say the same about the equipment that's probably been wrecked in that second lap where they all piled into the cars, including Bob Jolly. However, they'll clean up the incidents and we'll be back.
Live at Amaroo Park, where they're about to rerun the final round of the Comalco Wonderlic Sports Sedan Championship with a reduced field and a reduced race. 5 laps only, and only 19 runners now out of the original field of 55 after that first lap pile-up when they first tried to get it started. So it's a completely different looking grid.
Carling and Griffin back on the front row. Had a couple of words to different blokes down there about what happened. Apparently, it seems as though Bill Attard and a couple of other fellas touched around the back and just set off the reaction that we saw on air, and the rest is all history. Anyway, we're ready for another start. This one over 5 laps. Trenoweth is not there on the back of the grid. Of course, the fire in the big Jag. There's the gaps in the grid. And we're only a few seconds away from the start now, 10 seconds in fact. Tyndall in the middle, in the second row, then Ashby.
Flag is up. Carling and Griffin head-to-head off the front of the grid. And getting off to a good start was Carling, but I think Griffin may gather him in as they head up Bitchapave for the first time. There's the field, sweeping up Bitchapave Hill. And at the head of the pack, looking for them to break over the top and drop down into Dunlop Loop. It, in fact, is Carling. He's clear of Mike Griffin as they make their way through the corner. And now work their way down to the back part of the racetrack near Mazda Corner where the incident occurred.
2 Mazdas in the lead, Trevor Ashby in the Escort next, then Bob Tyndall in the V8 Tirana. Through the left-hander. Cedars having a pretty bad run through the Type 1 at Honda there in car 33.
Series leader Bob Jolly is one of the cars missing from the field. There's somebody else that's gone missing. Oh, bits and pieces flying everywhere.
Yes. Oh, well, coming out of Honda Corner, and it was John Vernon in the QBE Insurance Escort who went off. But Ashby all over the back of Griffin here as they come to the top of Nissan Skyline, and it's still Carling from Dubbo in New South Wales who leads in the rotary-powered Mazda.
As I said, Bob Jolly did not make the restart for this race. Obviously, you should have seen from the damage that his car sustained, but he will be the winner of the overall series. He's got an unbeatable points lead.
Trevor Ashby staying in touch with the 2 Mazdas up front. And right behind him, Bob Tyndall in car number 49 as they exit Honda Corner, make their run down to the late turn, the right-hander. And here they come. Tyndall getting very close indeed as they come out of the corner. Ashby up on the inside of Griffin and snatches him on the inside too, but whether or not Griffin, they're banging guards. Tyndall gets in for a bit of the taste of this. He's warming to all this lot. Griffin has been shuffled back in the pack as they drop down into Dunlop Loop. There's Carling going through. Ashby is the next one, followed by Tyndall. Got the best of that. And coming back underneath Tyndall as they come off that turn and doing it very effectively is Mike Griffin in the Nippon Auto Spares Mazda RX-7. There's plenty of action going on here at the front of the field. It doesn't involve Keith Carling, the race leader, though. But it certainly does involve these 2 cars. Tyndall again coming down to put the pressure on Mike Griffin. Griffin goes in much deeper under brakes. There's Carling coming out of the late turn. Ashby is the next one, and here comes Tyndall up on the inside and retakes. Oh, a little touch there. All's fair in love and war in the Comalco Wonderlic saga here today at Amaroo Park. There's Griffin going through. We'll see whether or not he can get back on racing terms with Bob Tyndall.
Tell you what, after this, you'd be able to start a scrap fiberglass yard.
Yes, I'll be looking for some fiberglass for the Mazdas. And through this part of the course, you'll notice that Griffin really does get back on even terms with Bob Tyndall.
This is the fight for 3rd place.
When Griffin, Ashby and Strife in the dirt, saves it.
She'll give
Hangs on in 2nd place.
should give half of this lot a motocross bogey.
Griffin got whacked in the backside, of course, in the first heat, if you can call it that, just a few moments ago, and it's crushed the exhaust pipe up underneath the floor of the car, so it's running very much restricted at the moment. Wouldn't be helping the Rotary's cause at all.
1 lap to go for the leader, Carling.
I tell you what, the real scrap is back behind, and we'll catch that as they drop over the top of the hill. Now there's the race leader.
Carling, car number 14. This car producing about 300 brake horsepower. It's identical to the type of power plant that powered the popular Group C touring cars. Here's the battle for second, third and fourth. Ashby, Tyndall, Griffin. But the thing about Carling's car is it's very light. Ordinary Mazda RX-7 in Group C trim was about 960 kilograms. This car, but Tyndall's off. Griffin's given him a bit of biffo, and Tyndall does a nice little pirouette at Honda corner, grabs first gear, and is off in 4th place. No shortage of action in the sports sedans as the checkered flag comes out, and Carling has come away with the gold on this one and takes the win in car number 14. Here's Trevor Ashby in second. He survived all the drama of the day. He'll be laughing tonight. Griffin the next man through, and then the Easy Pav car number 37, Stones.
Well, for some lightning and thunder, you've had it all in the Camalco Wonderlic Series. Carling takes the gold, Ashby picks up second, Griffin biffs his way to third.